So how are things really going at our southern border? Let's ask President of the Migration Policy Institute, Andrew Selee. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate you being back. The number of illegal migrants is now trending back upward after dropping following President Biden's executive action on June 4th. So I want you to help us digest these numbers. Is this a fluke, or is Biden's executive action already being rendered ineffective?
Actually, the numbers, we're about to get the new numbers, but we think they're still going down, actually. There was just a slight uptick last month, but it looks like they've gone down again this month.
Okay.
It looks like we're in a different moment. And again, it's always dangerous to say that, but it's some of the executive actions from the Biden administration. Some of it has to do with what Mexico is doing to keep people from getting to the border. And some of it has to do with opening up some legal avenues for people to come, which is allowing particularly Venezuelans, Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Haitians, who used to be a big part of the numbers arriving at the border. They're coming in legally now. And so they're not trying to get to the border and get across. But, you know, the numbers are still higher than they were maybe 10 years ago, but they're a lot lower than they were, a year ago, and they're a lot lower than they were 20 years ago.
Well, you know some of the best, so that's why we had you on. Thank you. Amid the executive action at the southern border, the northern border I'm looking at is being inundated with illegal migrants. Northern ports of entry saw a little over 21,000 illegal immigrants in 2021. So far this year, skyrocketing to more than 180,000. So Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik represents the northern border in New York and says she's been, quote, raising the alarm for years. Could this border crisis be stemming from the focus being placed mostly on the southern border and perhaps not enough up north?
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens, of course, right? When you close it down, you make it harder to get across the southern border, people find other ways. And so we are seeing larger numbers, particularly people from other countries outside the hemisphere trying to go into Canada and come down. It's still a fraction of the number coming to the southern border, right? It looks like a large number if you look at the year-long number, but it's a tenth or so of the people that are coming to the southern border. What we are seeing now, and this is an important distinction, if you go back even 6 months ago, most people who were being apprehended at either the northern or southern border were ended up being allowed into the United States because they just didn't have capacity to process people. When the numbers go down like they have right now, particularly on the southern border, most people actually are getting returned to their countries of origin. That's actually a big difference because it means that it then discourages people from coming in the future, right? It does actually create a deterrent. Some people will get in because they have good asylum cases, but overall, they're now able to process people in a normal way, which they weren't able to do 6 months ago or a year ago.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for helping us to make sense of all this. Issue number one for most Americans, the economy. Number two, immigration.
That's
President
right.
of the Migration Policy Institute, Andrew Selee, thank you so much for being with us. Have
Great
a
to be
great
with
day.
you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.